Good? Okay. All right. Got a head nod there. Good evening. Welcome to the City Council meeting May 19th, 2025. I hope everybody had a great weekend. We will we'll obviously call this meeting to order. We'll start off with the invocation and pledge allegiance. Councilmember Fulmer.
You're welcome to join me in prayer. Let's please remember in our prayers those that were impacted by the recent tornadoes in Missouri and Kentucky. Please be with the affected families and businesses in those areas in their time of need. We've been blessed with an abundance of rain again this spring. Let's be thankful, but also hopeful that we won't be forgotten again this summer. As always, let's be thankful for all our employees who work tirelessly for our community. And lastly, let's not forget our first responders who are always there on the front line for those of us fortunate enough to call Clemson home. In your name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Where's Chief? I thought Chief was here.
He was.
Yeah. Okay. We'll start this off with the proclamation. We're going to read, it's National Gun Violence Awareness Day on June 6, 2025. Whereas every day 125 people in America are killed by gun violence and hundreds more are shot and wounded with an average of more than 18,000 gun homicides every year. Whereas gun violence also shapes the lives of the millions who witness it, know someone who is shot or who lives in fear of the next shooting. Whereas Americans are 26 times more likely to die by gun homicide than people in other high-income countries. Whereas South Carolina averages more than 1,000 gun deaths every year with the rate of 19.1 deaths per 100,000 people, a crisis that costs the state $14 billion each year and places the state ninth in the highest rates of gun deaths in the U.S. Whereas protecting public safety in the communities that they serve is our highest responsibility. Whereas support for the Second Amendment rights of the law-abiding citizens goes hand in hand with keeping guns away from people with dangerous histories. Whereas City Council, law enforcement officers, in partnership with local violence intervention activists and resources know their communities best, are the most familiar with local criminal activity and how to address it, and are best positioned to understand how to keep their citizens safe. Whereas by wearing orange, June 6, 2025, Americans will raise awareness about gun violence and honor the lives of gun violence victims survivors. Now, therefore, I, Robert Halfinger, Mayor of the City of Clemson, do hereby proclaim June 6, 2025 to be National Gun Violence Awareness Day and encourage all citizens to support their local communities' efforts to promote responsible gun ownership and prevent the tragic effects of gun violence to honor and value human lives. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and have caused the great seal of the city to be affixed this 19th day of May of 2025. And I think Chief has left, and I don't see Sonia, but please keep the Chief and the rest of the team, all our first responders, see our gentleman right in the back, and Sonia and others, but and the whole community. So next, I would like to turn it over to public session. I will turn it over to our Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Just a reminder that the public comment period, the rundown, is always going to be available with the agenda. But just in case, as a reiteration here, the public comment period is limited to 30 minutes, with each speaker having 3 minutes a person. The topic that is we are welcoming topics that are not already on the agenda, so if you do want to speak about something that is on the agenda, we'll give you that time when we reach that item. So now, we did not have anybody sign up ahead of time in person for public comment, so I'm going to go ahead and read the one that we did receive through the My Civic app. This was submitted by Ms. Stephanie Platt. And she writes, "Good evening. I was wondering, since Clemson University is out for the summer, will residents of the city get to have free parking downtown? There was an idea presented at a past Conversations with Council meeting that maybe permanent residents of the city could get some kind of sticker for their car to park for free. I, for one, think this is great considering we are all city taxpayers. And that, again, is submitted by Ms. Plath. And now I'll open the floor for additional public comment. Okay, since nobody is coming up, I'll turn it back over to you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Next is the possible approval of minutes, May 5th, 2025. Would somebody like to make a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments, discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you very much. Next, we'll move into reports and discussion. First is a request of public hearing date for fiscal year 2025-2026 budget. Leslie, are you coming up, or? All right.
I think you probably need to go hand in hand for A and B.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you pretty much can. Well, yeah.
So the fiscal budget, we need to have a public hearing, but the caveat is we have to advertise it 2 weeks, so that's for both of us. But if we do it on the 9th at the first meeting, then I would need to put it in the paper this week. So it either needs to be the 9th or the 16th if possible, because those are the 2 meetings that we're having for the first and second readings of the budget.
If you are comfortable with the way the budget was presented and the rates and the no property tax increase, I would say that you could very easily do this June 9th at 6 o'clock. If you wanted to decrease the budget, you could still go at June 9th at 6 o'clock, but if you wanted to add to it, I would wait and tell me where you wanted to add to it. You can always take away, you just can't add.
Right. Because the advertisement shows the dollars that revenues and expenditures expected, and if you remove them, then you can still move forward, but after, we'd have to have another public hearing if we added to.
I'm pretty comfortable.
Your ninth all,
So,
I'm pretty comfortable.
9th at 5:30, Friday?
you said 6.
He says six.
It's at 6 o'clock.
That's
And
it.
start at 6:30. I'm sorry.
Okay, no, you're at 6 o'clock, okay. All right, thank you. That was easy. Nathan, speaking of, the next is to request a public hearing for.
Sorry, before we go to the next one,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you had said that. This says 2 readings, so would we be doing it at the 2 June meetings?
You would do the second one at first reading. Well, it's just one public hearing.
Correct.
One
Two
public
readings
public
of the
hearing,
budget.
then you have 2 readings of the
Yeah.
budget. Yes, sir, yeah. All right, so, all right, Nathan, sorry. Next is a request of public hearing date for Plan Unit Development 000391-2025, Varsity 3. And I know that we've already talked about needing the public hearing, but did you want to add, or you want to suggest a date?
Our request date is the 16th
Okay.
of June for advertising purposes. This received a 7-0 unanimous vote at the last planning commission meeting. So if the June 16th date is acceptable, we would, the developer can make that meeting.
How long will you need for that one? No?
I wouldn't
I
do
wouldn't
it
think
any
so.
later than 5:30.
Yeah,
Yeah.
depends on how many for the public show up as well, so
That's true. Okay.
want to make sure they have time to speak.
Do 5, just in case.
Sure, you can do 5 and then
And
people
then we can have a
trickle
15-minute
in.
break or something if we
Sure.
need.
Starting, yep.
So we're gonna do it at 5.
Is that okay with y'all?
Sure. So the 9th is at 6
6.
for the budget, and then the 16th is for the PUD
Yes.
at 5. At 5.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
that says
Yes, ma'am.
5:30, but we're gonna go.
Okay, thanks. I'm writing it down so I won't forget.
Thank you, Nathan.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Next item is discussing or requesting the Parks, Recreation, Arts, Culture, and Tourism Committee to discuss making adult softball an open league instead of a church league. And this is Councilman Cheryl
Absolutely.
to add to this.
This
Yes.
was brought up by a resident to me and asking the question, our wonderful adult league is advertised as a church league, and the question was, do all people who are in the community feel like that is an available league to them? So we had a great opinion from legal counsel regarding with the legality of that. It's not explicitly illegal, but the question is the language as inclusive as it could be? So hopeful that we can have the PRACT Commission just discuss it and think about whether or not we want to change the language a bit, or whether or not and retain all that's good about that program. Make sure it's as inclusive as possible. So that is the question. I'm going to go back to the commission for discussion.
I think it's a great idea. I know those who participate take it very seriously as well, so I think if there were more people competing, they'd be happy to see fresh faces.
How many teams are in the church league now?
I think there's 5. Am I right? 5? Does that sound about right, Bill? Yeah,
So
5.
it's just 5, okay.
And who
Church
knows,
loves
maybe-
it.
Yeah.
I'll
And I'm
say
sure
that.
This will probably, people don't even think twice about it, and now if we ended up reaching a point where we did change the verbiage, it might open up to way more people participating, so.
Any other comments? Thank you for bringing it up. Any other comments? All right, we got direction. Next is staff reports. Before we go that, I know some people slipped in, and we have ended public session, but we will give one more opportunity down at Mayor Council reports, comments, and new business. So I'm just giving everybody a heads up. Staff reports, Andy.
Tomorrow night on the Avenue, hopefully we're gonna have better weather.
I think every year, one of them has to get rained on.
One of them does. We're gonna.
Well, we
let's
set
do or
up and
die.
then we
go
come
out
down.
there until we're drenched, man.
Yeah.
We'll just do it until we can. Another reminder here, your next meeting's not till June 9th. That's because some of us will be in Kent, Ohio for the International Town Gown Association. And then we're just gonna go back to back on the 16th. You're back on your normal cycle. And we were very fortunate this year that the MASC drew our name early. So we get great opportunity for hotel selection. That hadn't been done yet? They sent the stuff out. Well, tell them what we've got so far.
For the
Sounds like a
July.
surprise. Tell them what we got, Johnny.
Okay.
Jeez.
Our annual meeting, I have registration forms over here if you want to see me after. I can take you through what we have. The drawing is going to be June 2nd. We get to figure out where we are in the pecking order from all of the cities to book in the host hotel, or we might have to move to one of the partner hotels. So we won't know that until then. But yes, I'll see you after for registration. I can walk you through that. Hope for big money next time.
No whammy, no whammy.
No way.
Also, if you haven't done so already, make sure you download the city app. And if you need help, we'll get you signed up for all the meeting notifications and everything like that, so you'll be ready to go. Just drop in, no appointment needed. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. All right. Well, next is policy action items. Just a reminder from the public side, 2-minute limit per speaker. First is consider second reading of proposed ordinance change to match the definition of occupant in section 1355 of our rental housing regulations to the definition found in section 19107 of the city zoning code. Jacob.
Well, you just basically took my whole introduction.
Sorry,
That's it.
you know.
There's been no change since the last meeting, and like you just said, this will make the definition for occupant the same in both the rental housing ordinance and the code of ordinances.
Any questions or comments for Jacob? From the public? Would somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the second reading of the proposed ordinance change to match the definition of occupant in section 1355 to the definition found in section 19-107.
Second.
Any comments? All right, all in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you very much. Jacob, you got another one. First reading.
Yes, so this is the ordinance that would create a developer would have to post a bond for any commercial space in a mixed-use building that is not CO'd at the same time as the residential portion of the building. So the language reads, a bond in the amount equal to 150% of the estimated cost for building out the commercial space based on the current average cost for commercial construction in the area as determined by the city, shall be posted at the time of issuance of the first certificate of occupancy issued for any portion of the residential component of a mixed-use structure. The bond, which shall have a 2-year expiration date, may be either a cash or surety bond, and shall be released upon completion of the upfit for the commercial space. In the event the commercial space upfit is completed by units or phases, the bond amount may be proportionately reduced based on the square footage of the space is occupied by a viable commercial entity possessing a business license issued by the city. The city shall reserve the right to call the bond for any incomplete commercial space 2 weeks prior to the expiration of the bond. And that language is in the conditional use for all mixed-use buildings.
Questions or comments for Jacob? From the public? Would somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the first reading of 2024-R-04 proposed text amendment regarding bonding commercial space and mixed-use development.
Second.
Comments? I'll make one. Thank you very much for bringing an innovative program to exactly the benefits of the entire support small business and foster the growth of a vibrant downtown area. All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, thank you, Jacob. Thank you very much. As a reminder, I did forget there are ADA devices. Jeremiah has them. I always have a tendency sometimes to think about it a little bit later on, but that is my error. But just as a reminder, there are right there by Jeremiah. Next is other policy items. Consider approving a proposed proclamation guidelines. Andy.
No change have been made to the guidelines. If you guys approve those tonight, we will go ahead and post those online under the How Do I tab, like how do I request a proclamation. And we'll just start directing people to that application and helping them find it if we need to and fill it out.
Yes. So I got one question. If this goes into effect, what about the ones we've had pending for the last month? Is somebody going to?
This is going to phase in.
Phase in?
Yeah, we can't just go back and we've already committed to some people. And then there's some.
Well, some we haven't responded back yet. So do we? If this goes into effect, we're going to share this new information.
Yeah, we would just have them fill out. And they would fall in line if they haven't been committed.
I got two today. So that's what I'm saying. It's like okay.
And then you've got some. Like in February when we do all the recognitions. I mean, that's just what y'all do, and we have a process for that already.
I love
This is
process.
primarily for an outside request.
Thank you. Okay.
The only thing I probably would add is because they wasn't aware of it in the first place, so you probably do want to have a date to start or let them know that we changed it, because if they didn't know that this was going to be expected, it may catch them off guard just a little bit, so I think we still should have something to say going forward for those requests that come in after today's meeting versus that came in prior to.
Well, I'm gonna have to, I mean, there's people who submit stuff every year.
I'm saying those people would still have to do that.
They'd still
Right.
I'm just saying anything
Like the
that
two
comes
that you
in.
got today.
Yeah, I'm saying anything that comes in after today.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Absolutely, right.
We don't want them to have to fill out a second thing
Right.
for the same proclamation.
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Good point. All right. Any other comments from the public? Would somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion we approve the proposed proclamation guidelines as presented.
Second.
Okay. Any other comments? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right. Thank you very much. Next is mayor council reports, comments, new business. We'll start it off. I just got one quick thing. Thank you, Joan and Lindsay and many others. I know there were others out there for the butterfly locations. The exhibit that was not this past Sunday, the Sunday before. I thought it was a great event. A lot of community members came out, and I look forward to all the different butterfly locations that are on this map right here. So thank you to all that were involved, and I think it's great. And there were a lot of artists that did butterflies, which is beautiful. It's cool. So, other comments? Okay.
You said you were
New business, I know. I got it. Hold on, sorry. New business. Anything else? All right, we're gonna open back up. We'll turn it back over to Mayor Pro Tem, because I know there were a couple people that came in, and we started this meeting a little bit earlier, and so we'll go back to public session to end our city council meeting.
Sure, just as a reminder, public comments are limited to 3 minutes per person, with a cap at 30 minutes. We had one comment earlier, but we know that we had some people that were planning on coming, so I'll open that up now for public comment. If you can please sign in over here with Jeremiah.
All right, I have copies.
There's two, I guess.
Oh, sorry. Yep, thank you.
No, those are both yours. Those are just, the second part's yours, like you asked for the emails earlier, so.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna get one set. Hello, I'm Kim Kelly. I'm an avid pickleball player and have played on numerous courts at all different levels. So tonight I'm here to address the pickleball court situation. My goal is to explain how it is not a small pickle, but a big issue. And we have now the opportunity not to change this hiccup into a big win for our community. Given the sport's explosive growth and the community's strong interest, it's essential that these courts meet regulation standards and serve as a safe, long-term asset for Clemson. The courts are off by more than just a little bit. They're off by 5 feet from end to end, and they're over a foot on each side off, which makes these courts very unsafe. The net posts will all need to be ripped out and relocated, and the courts will need to be fully repaired and repainted. Each of you have a packet of communication that shows an effort that was made multiple times to correct the situation. I've also included pictures to better explain. I have not heard what the plans are to fix the situation, so I wanted to outline my recommendations. Number one, hire a professional. This includes an engineer and contractor that have extensive pickleball experience. Number two, direction and reconfiguration of the courts. Most public courts are built side to side lengthwise, allowing a natural slide effect. Number three, remove or reconfigure fencing between courts. The current configuration is dangerous. It's often referred to as a cheese grater because of how you come up against the courts. Ensure safe and clear entry to all the courts. The current design has entry from only the middle, which has people going through the courts, not around them to access the courts. This is dangerous and it interrupts matches in progress. And you can see the diagram how I explained it. Number five, replace the paddle system. The current paddle system functions as more of a store display than an actual rotation system. Number six, windscreens are necessary for the outside fences. With the actual pickleball being very light, wind can be a huge interference with play. Number seven, add seating. Number eight, expand the shade structure. Number nine, install a practice backboard. 10, purchase squeegees to manage the water and make all the courts safe to play. And I think it was back in November's meeting when I think I heard that they were $560,000 under budget. Well, it sounds like there's available surplus to implement these improvements now while the opportunity exists. Lastly, I have to mention that the new 2025 PPA requirements are now 34 by 64. I believe at the October council meeting, it was said these courts were to be used for tournaments. And if this is true, then this also might need to be considered. I challenge the council to make this as an opportunity to go all in and get this court fixed to our community, so we can be proud of this project in the end. I care deeply about this project and what it can become for our Clemson community. In 25 years of living here, this has been the best community connection I have been a part of, bringing together everyone from ages 9 to 90. Pickleball is the fastest growing sport for children and young adults. Let's not be left behind. City Council, do you agree? And that's all I have to say.
Thank you very much, Ms.
you.
Kelly.
Good evening, council members, Mr. Mayor. I've spoken before this, not this council. Congratulations and appreciate all the newcomers for getting involved in our community. But I've talked to several councils about pickleball. Having grown up in this area and lived most of my life, I was kind of disappointed in some of the things when I came back here. Kim's not wrong. I've been fortunate with my wife's job to play in 17 different states and over 70 different pickleball places in the state of South Carolina, and I've never seen one designed like this. I play pickleball every day. I would not play on those. I've been getting my master's in sports management. My risk management thing it's amazing to me that those courts are open when all the governing bodies say that you got to have 8 feet behind the baseline, and we're letting those things open where there's 4 feet. It's a good thing most of the college kids are gone because they would be most at risk with their brains not shrinking like us. They a lot quicker. They're going to be up there at the kitchen line and go chase a lob and crash into the fence and hit their head. And then I don't know what's going on. So I don't know, I was concerned about that. I've been able to see so many places that the community profited and not just with the health of their citizens, but having people come in. So I reiterate what Kim said, we need to fix this and have a first-class facility. I could go on and on about some of the places. Opelika, Alabama started with 12 courts. They covered them. They went to 24 courts covered, and now they are at 9 more. Opelika is not much different from Clemson. Their pickleball club last year donated $100,000 to the city of Opelika from their tournaments they had the past 5 years. So it's a thing that we can bring other people in the downtime when Clemson's not having sports during the summer, over Christmas. You really need to understand that when they pull those poles up, which they're gonna have to do, it needs to be somebody that's done that before, because they're gonna break the seal and you're not gonna know it, and 8 to 10 months later, those courts are gonna crack. And I may be wrong, I'm going by hearsay, which I probably shouldn't do, but I've heard the contractor that built this had never built a court before. So that's really scary to me. So I hope all that is really looked into. I've been before this council so many times to get pickleball courts going. One time when one of the old guys were here, I emailed everybody and I got in trouble for that from him. He said that I shouldn't tell people that I go to Seneca and play and stop at Ingalls and Seneca and buy gas in Ingalls and my money's going there because we don't have a place. And it's not just for us old people. Go out there in the afternoon, you'll see all these college kids, little kids, special needs kids, etc. I just hope you we've already invested money that you'll take heed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other comments from the public?
Lee, 113 President Drive, Clemson. I'm going to talk to you, if you're not already aware of a new presidential executive order about water pressure. And I was thinking about things here with the possibility of perhaps as many as 10,000 new beds going in the city, I'm not sure, and showers. But it's a misnomer to begin with, because there was a executive order mandating 2.5 per gallon flow water pressure. That was a federal, supposed to apply to everything. Well, if you open up, instead of at 2.5 gallons a minute times 10,000, you open it up at 10 gallons a minute, or 15 or 20, there's going to be a pressure drop. Now, whether our system already has the capacity to, I don't know, but you run into, do you need new pipe size? Do you need more booster pumps and all that? So I thought there's maybe something, and I don't know the numbers of this at all, just a rough idea, but it would have an effect. I don't know how much the effect would be on it in the future, but I think it's worth possibly referring it to the Sustainability Committee and the Planning Commission to know say, if everybody replaced their shower head with a 5-gallon permit or a 7, so you got maybe 20 gallons a minute flowing per house, that times 10,000, 7 o'clock in the morning, and you have responsibility to maintain water pressure for fire systems. Now, is that going to be, are the pipe sizes and pumps that we already have enough, or do we need to make a local restriction, if that's even possible? I don't know. So, just wanted to make you aware of that if you're not already. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Any other public comments? Okay, thanks for your patience. We do have information about pickleball courts, excuse me. Andy, did you want to chime in on that one?
Yeah, I wish it came in $500,000 under budget, but it was 50,000 under budget. So we're still good there. That's gonna be what we need to cover, having the repairs made, and we are gonna be pulling up the nets and reorienting the courts. It will be an expert installer who's doing it. The contractor who we hired to do the installation has not done pickleball courts, but his sub has extensive experience, and the misalignment came from them reading the plans. I mean, we had it just the plans were just, you shift it a little bit, you can barely see it with the naked eye, but when you dig into it, you see what you see out there now. They're not aligned correctly. So they were put in just as the design had indicated. So the installer's gonna come back and he's gonna reconfigure and do the whole thing. Probably by July. And if they can fit us in sooner, they will, and I think it's only gonna take a few days to make the repair. In the meantime, they're open for everyone to enjoy.
That'll end the second time tonight, so we just want to make sure everybody had the opportunity. Would somebody like to make a motion to adjourn? Any comments or discussion? That is always so quick. All right, guess not. All in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.